Yo, you're lying in bed, phone in hand, telling yourself, just one more video, I'll stop after this. You said that an hour ago, before Maghrib, before Isha. Now it's late, your heart's heavy, and you're stuck in that same dark loop again. You know the one, where you feel gross, guilty, like you let yourself down. Again. Bro, I've been there. That moment where you're scrolling, and something catches your eye. You know you shouldn't look, but you do. And then it's like your brain's on autopilot. Your thumb keeps going, your heart's racing, and before you know it, you're somewhere you swore you'd never go again. It's not just about lust. It's that quiet voice in your head that makes haram feel okay, like it's just a quick look, no big deal. But deep down, you know it's eating at you. It's why you feel distant when you pray, like the Qur'an's just words on a page, not hitting your soul anymore. Here's the real talk. You're not a bad person. You're not a failure. You're just stuck. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees that. He didn't give you those feelings to drown in them. He gave you a way out. 5 verses that aren't here to judge you, ascended to shame you. They're here to pull you back. These verses? They're like a best friend who grabs you by the shoulders and says, yo, snap out of it. You're better than this. They hit deep, make you think, and show you the path to get your heart right. If you're ready to break free, to stop feeling like a stranger in your own faith, stay with me. These 5 verses are going to light up your way out of this mess. Let's get into the first one. Number 1, the desires you justified are the chains you're now dragging. You didn't just fall into lust overnight. It started slow, something harmless. A post here, a reel there. Maybe a crush you knew was haram but felt innocent. You told yourself, it's not like I'm doing anything major. And that little voice, it agreed. Just watching, just scrolling, just texting, just talking, just one more. But now it's been months, maybe years, and you're dragging something way heavier than you expected. The worst part, it doesn't even feel like a choice anymore. You open your phone like you're hypnotized. You tell yourself you'll lower your gaze, but your fingers move faster than your conscience. You quit the app and then reinstall it 2 hours later because your dopamine crashed and you needed a break. This is how lust works. It doesn't destroy you in one blow. It conditions you, trains you to normalize what once made you flinch. And by the time you realize it's chained you, you're already miles from where your heart used to be. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't leave this cycle unaddressed. In Surah Al-Jathiyah, He asks, have you seen the one who takes his desires as his God? That verse isn't a metaphor, it's a diagnosis. Because when your desire tells you when to click, what to stare at, who to fantasize about, and you obey without resistance, that's not freedom. That's quiet servitude. And it's so subtle that most people never realize. The very thing they kept justifying eventually started defining them. You used to control it. Now it controls you. Here's the twist. This verse isn't just a warning. It's a mirror. Not to make you hate yourself, but to finally see who's been driving your choices. It's not your soul. It's not your values. It's just habit, dressed up as desire. And until you confront that honestly, healing can't start. So if this hit uncomfortably close, good. It means the real you is still alive beneath the noise. Number 2, lust doesn't just blind you, it rewires your brain. You didn't notice it the first time. It was just a reel, a joke, a song with a vibe. Then another one, then another, until suddenly your brain stopped reacting to normal life. Your friend's wedding? Boring. Jummah khutbah. Can't focus. Real women, the kind with dignity, haya, warmth. Your heart doesn't even flinch. Because your brain isn't blind, it's rewired. That dopamine flood you used to get from connection, from meaning, from peace. It's been hijacked by pixels and fake intimacy. And now, real things feel dull. Halal feels boring. Purity feels slow. You ever wonder why you're less emotional in your dua? Why tears don't come in sujud like they used to? It's not because you stopped caring, it's because the heart's bandwidth is full with noise. Lust isn't just a sin you commit, it's a signal you feed until it builds new neural pathways, ones that skip love and go straight to escape. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warns us with a verse that hits even harder when you understand what's happening inside. Do not follow your desire, lest it lead you astray from the path of Allah. This isn't just a warning, it's a diagnosis, because when you follow lust long enough, it becomes your path, and that's what's scary. Not that you slipped once, but that you built your habits around slipping. You trained your eyes to wander, your fingers to search, your thoughts to spiral. You didn't mean to, but now it's your default. But here's the part nobody told you. The same way you trained your brain to crave this, you can train it to uncrave it. That's why these verses matter. They aren't just about stopping sin. They're about rewiring your direction, step by step, verse by verse, until your heart doesn't crave darkness anymore. It craves light. Number 3, Shayṭān's first trap wasn't a lie, it was a suggestion. It doesn't start with a sin, it starts with a sentence. It's just a glance. You're not doing anything haram yet. At least you're not watching that stuff anymore. That's how it begins. Not with rebellion, with reason. Because Shayṭān doesn't need to drag you into the fire. He just needs you to take one step closer, on your own. That's how he played Adam alayhi salam, not with a command, but with a calm, confident whisper. Shall I show you the tree of eternity and a kingdom that will never decay? He didn't lie outright. He offered a suggestion that sounded noble. Don't you want more? Don't you want to grow? And that's exactly how he whispers to you. You're doing well now. You can handle this. It's okay to test yourself, see how strong you are. But that's not strength. That's ego dressed as self-control. And before you know it, you're back in the same algorithm, the same patterns, the same fake control, calling it progress when it's really just a more halal-looking cage. You don't fall all at once. You drift from intention to curiosity, from just looking to just a few minutes, from guilt to numbness. And Shayṭān doesn't need to force you. He just keeps suggesting. That's why this verse is brutal, but necessary. Do not follow the footsteps of Shayṭān. Indeed, he is to you a clear enemy. Footsteps, not leaps. Because lust rarely crashes through your life. It tiptoes in. So if your resistance is fading, if your standards keep adjusting, if your own justification sounds smarter than your iman, pause. Ask yourself, whose voice am I following right now? Because sometimes the voice in your head isn't yours, and the thoughts that feel like freedom are actually a leash. Number 4, you tried to numb the fire by feeding it. You didn't plan to spiral, you were just tired, lonely, bored. So you opened your phone for 5 minutes, just to scroll. And that's when it hit. The algorithm knows exactly what you crave, even when you pretend you don't. And in that moment, lust didn't feel like rebellion, it felt like relief. Because that's the trap no one talks about. When you're hurting or stressed, desire starts pretending to be a solution. Not pleasure, distraction, not temptation, escape. And the cycle gets sharper when you try to quit. You delete the app, block the site, lower your gaze, and for a few days, you feel strong. But then, the withdrawals come, not physical, emotional. You start snapping at people. You can't focus. You feel heavier than usual. That fire you used to cool down with lust, it starts burning inside you instead. And what do most people do? They feed it again. Because no one taught us that desire, when misused, turns into a drug. The more you consume it to feel better, the more it hijacks your wiring to make you worse. And do not approach indecency. outward or inward. Notice, don't approach it, not even flirt with the edge. Because Islam doesn't just protect you from sin, it protects you from the build-up to sin that you keep calling coping. And here's the psychological part, backed by both Qur'an and research. Repeated exposure to lust rewires your emotional tolerance. The stuff that once shocked you becomes normal. The content that used to disturb you becomes your new baseline. That's not who you are. That's just the fire getting hungrier, and it never stops with a spark. So the next time you feel that urge to calm your nerves with something haram, ask yourself this: am I trying to heal the fire inside me? Or am I just feeding it more fuel? Because real relief doesn't feel like guilt afterward. It feels like peace. Number 5. Lust doesn't just steal pleasure. It kills purpose. There's a reason you feel numb after giving in. It's not just the shame. It's not even the sin. It's the silence. Because somewhere deep inside, you know you were meant for more than this. And that's the part lust never talks about. It sells you cheap comfort, but never tells you the price. You waste hours chasing pixels. You dodge salah because you feel too dirty to stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You feel disconnected from your goals, your people, your own self. And when you finally sit with that stillness, there's nothing left but regret. Why? Because lust doesn't just trap your body, it hijacks your mission. The Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam had every excuse to give in. Young, alone, no witnesses, and a woman of power literally calling him. But what did he say? My Lord, prison is more beloved to me than what they invite me to. He wasn't scared of getting caught. He was scared of becoming someone Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wouldn't recognize. That's the mindset that defeats lust, not fear, but clarity. Lust doesn't start by tempting your desires. It starts by clouding your direction. And for a lot of people, that's the real damage. You stop journaling. You stop making dua. You stop dreaming big because your soul's been shrunk down to a screen. But it doesn't have to stay that way. Because purpose doesn't disappear. It just gets buried. And every time you fight the urge, even if you lose sometimes, you're still peeling back the layers to find the version of you Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always intended. That's why this last verse isn't about punishment. It's about permission. Permission to start again. Permission to move differently. Permission to become the one you are always capable of being when lust stops steering the wheel. Now, let's wrap this with something real, because what you do after hearing these verses is where everything changes. So, if you've made it this far, maybe that says something. You didn't click away. You didn't scroll past. You stayed. And maybe that means you're not just someone struggling with lust. Maybe you're someone finally ready to outgrow it. You're tired of the false highs. Tired of wiping your browser and wiping your tears. Tired of feeling like your dawn is on pause while your desires drive the car. But here's what the Qur'an just reminded you. Your soul was never designed to run on shame. Allah SWT didn't reveal these verses to crush you. He revealed them to wake you up, to anchor your heart, to clean the lens so you could see clearly again. Because the moment you can finally say, Ya Allah, I don't want to fight you anymore, is the moment your healing really begins, and that cycle you thought you'd never escape. It starts cracking, not because you forced yourself, but because the truth finally clicked deeper than the desire. So if this video touched something real in you, don't let it fade with the next scroll. Leave a short dua in the comments, Ya Allah, purify my heart, or even one word, even just Ameen. You never know whose heart it might hit. And if you've got a friend, sibling, or someone close who needs this but won't say it out loud, send it quietly. No lecture, no judgment. Just a lifeline. We're all crawling through the same storm. Let's not walk it alone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.